The Pear Affair, Chapter 29. The crowd, silent now, held its breath. Nell looked from Nedge to Melinda and back again. She didn't understand. She was the client of Crown Couture, the one who accused Pear of taking her precious brooch. I didn't realise she was your mother, Nell. A frosty hand gripped Nell's heart. She took a step towards Melinda. Why would you do that? Oh, for goodness sake, what does it matter now? Said Melinda. I wish you would just stop harping on about Pear. Pear this, Pear that. I don't know why you care about her so much. I do care about her, shouted Nell. I've never stopped caring about her. Sobs were fighting their way up her chest into her throat, making it hard to speak. Well, you shouldn't, snapped Melinda. She kidnapped you, for goodness sake. She's nothing but a common criminal. Nell stared at Melinda. Melinda stared back. There was nothing kind in that gaze. It was stone hard, devoid of even a flicker of warmth. And then, just like that, it made sense. On the day they had been separated, the day of the row and the shouting, they must have been going to run away together, to escape to Paris. But Melinda had found out, sent Pear away, banished Nell to boarding school. It's not kidnapping if you're leaving of your own free will, Nell yelled. But her mother didn't even flinch. Oh, you silly, silly girl, she said witheringly. Melinda, warned Gerald. Oh, shut up, Melinda snapped. What does it matter now? The stipulations can go to hell in a handcart for all I care. We're ruined anyway. What are you talking about? Burst out Nell. What did the boring old stipulations imposed by the boring old magnificent board have to do with her mother making false accusations about Pear? Penelope, the kidnapping you are referring to was the second attempt. Now listen carefully. Melinda's eyes glittered. She stole you when you were a baby. What? She stole you? How do you like that? I told you she was a criminal. Nell felt like the earth had dropped away from beneath her. Is that why there was a warrant out for Pear's arrest? She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Pear had stolen her. From where? She made a mistake, continued Melinda. A very big one. She'd be in jail if we hadn't come along and helped her out. And look at you now. I've never met anyone so ungrateful in my whole life. So, the thought was enormous, like a volcano about to erupt. You aren't my real parents then? Melinda looked Nell up and down and smiled. A bitter, horrible, demonic smile. She shook the fur hat off, attempted to smooth her platinum blonde hair, difficult when handcuffed, but she managed it. Well, no, I would have thought that was pretty obvious by now. Nell felt as though she had been hit hard in the face. Behind her, the crowd started to murmur. She could hear someone running across the concourse and shouting her name. Nell! Nell! The crowd parted. It was Zav, red-faced and panting, bent double now, trying to catch his breath. Nell, don't listen to her. I went back to the theatre, found out where Coco lives. She says to come. The police agreed to let Nell go to Coco's as long as Michelle accompanied her. There were questions to be asked, the inspector said, but they could wait. Somehow they all managed to squeeze into a taxi by sitting on top of one another. Everyone was chattering, reliving the scoop, congratulating themselves for the parts they had played. The plan had worked. The whole story would be splashed across the front page of Le Monde in the morning. You slept in the laundry cupboard? Michelle asked for the third time as the taxi racketed along the city streets, no less aghast than he had been when he had heard it first time round. Nell nodded, squashed onto the back seat with Soutine and Nedge on one side, Emile and Colette on the other, and Michelle and Zav in the front, whilst Paul and Paulette crouched on the floor. Her mind was in a whirl. Melinda and Gerald weren't her real parents. Pear had kidnapped her when she was a baby. No wonder she was on the run. But if she was on the run, why would she have taken the time to finish the dress for Coco? And where was she now? The mayor had said she was out of the country, but who was to say he was telling the truth? It was all so complicated. There was too much to take in, and she was scared. The person she had held steady in her mind all these years had started to go wobbly at the edges. Now, Nedge was nudging her, looking at her questioningly. You okay? She nodded, but she wasn't. She felt confused, bewildered, as if her inner compass, not the one that knew the streets of Paris, but the one that had always pointed her in the direction of Pear, was way off course. Give me the letter, said Nedge, the one in your pocket. Nell dug the letter out and handed it over. Darling Nell, read Nedge. Everything was in place. I was going to come for you, but something has happened and I need to set it right. Do not lose faith. We will be together and the truth will come out. Your dearest friend, Pear. Do not lose faith, repeated Nedge. Nell, we're with you. We are your friends and we're going to make sure you are all right.